Hi, my name is Aiden, and here's the team behind LearnLoop. Going from left to right, we have Mac, who worked on user authentication, the student and counselor view, and deployment. Next is Owen, who worked on the career recommendations feature and the backend algorithm. Next is Brendan, who worked on content generation, the Discover page, and the job site. Finally, myself, Aiden, who worked on the quizzes features and the user interface. Now, let's dive into what LearnLoop does. As an adult, have you ever felt overwhelmed by the thousands of different directions your life could take? Or maybe you've met a high schooler gearing up for graduation, unsure of what comes next. That's exactly where LearnLoop comes in. LearnLoop is a platform that delivers personalized career recommendations along with personality and aptitude assessments, all designed to be engaging, insightful, and actually enjoyable to use. We've reimagined traditional testing by replacing long, outdated surveys with interactive, short-form content that's tailored to today's youth. We take the user's interactions with our short-form content and traditional surveys, then deliver recommendations personalized to them. A key part of the experience is the content itself, some of which is generated in-house using AI, or it is carefully sourced from high-quality Creative Commons media. This allows us to offer dynamic, relevant content that feels fresh and polished for every user. And LearnLoop isn't just for individuals. We've also built in tools for counselors and educators, so entire school districts or organizations can use the platform to guide and support their students or employees. Now, I'll pass it off to Owen for the demo.
All right, so now that we understand a little bit about LearnLoop, I'll go through our product here. So this is our homepage where a user could learn a little bit more about LearnLoop. And then once they decide to sign up, they can log in. And then when they hit try now, they'll be taken to the homepage. And now this is the place where a user who is confused about what they want to do with their career would go to interact with content. So our first form of content is our people. And these are informational videos about famous people and politicians who have had excellent careers. And by watching these, users will learn not only about what careers are out there, but also what careers interest them. So if we click on people and hit resume quiz, we have two types of videos. One is our AI automated videos. So there's a quick example. And then we have these timelines and about information on the side. And then the user can rate them and hit next. So then they get another person here. We get to hit next. And then we also have YouTube videos. So this is an example of a YouTube video that is being served to mix it up from our AI generated content. So now that we've interacted with some content, we can go back here. And then in addition to the people content, we also have quizzes. So we have the Big Five personality assessment, which is your traditional kind of psychology style assessment. I've preceded most of the questions, but here's an example one. I take pride in being organized and prepared. So if I select agree and hit submit, we can now view our results. And as we can see, this person is high in extroversion, empathy, and most of the other traits. So their archetype is the visionary, who has a lot of different traits, and then a quick description about them. So then in addition to these psychology-based questions, we have aptitude-style tests. So for example, the logic and reasoning quiz, we can hit resume quiz, and it'll give us a question. A book costs $20. If there's a 25% discount, what is the final price? It'll be $15. And then we continue to prompt you with questions. And then once we've completed a quiz, so I've preceded a numerical reasoning completion, you can come and view results and you'll see the score that you've gotten. So once you've interacted with all these different types of content, you can come to our career recommendations page. And what this page is doing is it's pulling data from not only the content you've interacted with, but also those quizzes and merging them into one centralized career recommendation platform. So as we can see here, based off the content and the scores from the aptitude tests, our number one career is a writer, followed by an entrepreneur, followed by a business person. So if I click this Learn More button, it's going to take us to the job site where we have data about the future prospects, wages, as well as the vibe of the job, which contains information about the roles that you can get under this job title. And all this data is being pulled from ground truth data sources. So now if we come back to the LearnLoop main site, we have features that allow a counselor to view their students' results. So if you have like a career counselor wanting to see what their student does, we have those features. So we have this registration code that the student can paste in here. And then if we refresh here, we'll see that user 011 is now assigned to this counselor. And what this allows the counselor to do is assign quizzes to the student. So let's assign the logical reasoning quiz assign. And now if we come back over to the user, we can see that the counselor has assigned this quiz. And that's our main functionality.
Our tech stack at LearnLoop included a Django monolith deployed to a DigitalOcean VM for our main business logic and web application. Additionally, we had a Next.js single-page app pre-rendered and deployed to Cloudflare CDN. All pre-rendered content was generated with Python script that used a variety of LLM and other libraries, including Selenium and FFmpeg, which we'll touch on later. We also use GitLab, Docker, GitHub Actions, and a testing harness to facilitate CI and CD. All assets were stored in a large file store. As far as our content, we had three main pipelines. I won't go through them in depth, but all of them either scrape data or pull data from an API, then move them through various LLMs and statistical algorithms in order to aggregate, generate, and output new content. From there was either a composition stage or a classification stage to A, evaluate the content, or B, create new content. Lastly, for our software engineering practices, we had 44 merge requests and code reviews, and our main application was split from microservices into a monolith in order for better scalability and faster development experience. We also had micro front ends for pre-rendered and pre-built assets in order to optimize the compute and make it easier to have multiple repos for a big development team. Additionally, we had a seeding and testing harness for Django and CI/CD automation for Next.js. We built these when we found bottlenecks in our development process and wanted a smoother experience. Lastly, we constantly added new features like the counselor dashboard or curated Creative Commons content based on user studies we did throughout the year that realigned our mission and software.
That about wraps up what we wanted to share with you guys about LearnLoop. So, just to recap, LearnLoop is a modern aptitude testing platform designed to help young adults find their interests, aptitudes, and passions. So, the way we do that is by merging the traditional psychology and aptitude quizzes with some of that short form content. So, in our case, we have generated and scraped content. And that will really help to keep the students engaged. And as I'm sure you know, these days, things like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts all are really good at keeping students engaged. Apart from that, our platform also gives counselors the power to assign some of those specific quizzes to students, as well as monitor their progress. And that can also help to make the counselor's job a bit easier. All right, so you can head to learnloop.info to learn more and see our fully deployed site if you would like. So thank you so much for taking the time to learn about our project.